Good morning,
Buenos días.
January 15th, and welcome to Coffee Talk. No, it's not Coffee Talk. I fooled them. It's a Bible study. You're stuck. It's a Coffee Talk with Randy and Fernando. Actually, Fernando doesn't drink coffee, so that would be like, that wouldn't even be good. He doesn't drink coffee from a country that produces the best coffee in the world. Anyways, that happens sometimes when you're surrounded by that stuff. You don't like it. You don't like culantro either. It's crazy, you know. But hey, that happens. Everybody's different. Let's look at this right now. Shemai. Shimei. How would you say that?
Shamu.
No L, I. Shimei. Shemai.
Shammai,
Shammai. Well, he curses David. What's going on in David's life? A lot. David has sinned, and he's facing many consequences. And I'm gonna fix the phone because it's driving me nuts because it's at angle. There. I don't know. That's probably not better. But anyways, it's at an angle the other way. Anyway, I can't win. Fernando's gonna fix it. Hang in there. Hold on. Shemai. Sounds like Laverne and Shirley. Shemai. Shemazel. Definitely sounds Jewish. David escapes Jerusalem from his own son Absalom. Absalom at this point, let's go back a little bit further. Ammon has raped his sister Tamar. Absalom has killed his brother. Absalom now thinks he's the king of the universe and the king, and David, and has men now, has horses and men running in front of him, has stolen people's hearts, if you will, and now is setting himself up to be king. David himself is escaping from his own son. Can you imagine? Wow. Shammai now is going to curse David. We're going to look at that. So it's in 2 Samuel chapter 16 and verse 5. Now when King David came to Bahurim, there was a man from the family of the house of Saul whose name was Shammai, the son of Gera. Coming from there, he came out. I want to notice something. If you haven't noticed already with the Bible, it's this man, he's the son of this man, he's the son of that man, he's from the family of this family, he's from the tribe. Right, and so you can't argue with these facts. You could try, but the Bible doesn't just say this story and not give you a background a little bit. And he came out cursing continually as he came, and he threw stones at David, the king. This is the king, by the way, and all the servants of the king of David, and all the people. And all the mighty men were at his right hand and on his left. And Shammai said thus when he cursed, come out, you bloodthirsty man, you rogue. The Lord has brought he has brought upon you all the blood of the house of Saul, in which place you have reigned. And the Lord has delivered the kingdom into the hand of Absalom, your son. Which is not true. That's not true, because God is in control, not Absalom. And not this guy, what he says. So now you are caught. You're caught because of your bloodthirsty man, your own evil. You're caught. Then Abishai, the son of Zerah, said to the king, "Why should this dead dog curse the Lord my king? Please let me go over and take off his head." Come on, let's get rid of this dude. What, do you let them just talk to you like that? But the king said, David said, "What have I to do with you, you sons of Zerah? So let him be cursed, because the Lord has said to him, curse David. Who then shall say, why have you done so?" And David said to Abishai and his servant, "See how my son who came from my own body seeks my life? How much more? How now may this Benjamite let him alone, and let him curse, for the Lord has ordered him. He has meekness. It may be that Lord look at my affliction. It may be that the Lord will look upon my affliction, that the Lord will repay me with good for his cursing this day. You see what he's saying? The guy's cursing him. He's the king. He could go off with his head. That's really what he could say. Cut his head off. Get him out of here. But he doesn't. And he says, and that the Lord may repay me with good for his cursing that day. And as David and his men went along the road, Shimei went along the hillside opposite him and cursed him as he went, throwing stones at him and kicked up the dust. Now the king and all the people who were with him became weary, and they refreshed themselves there. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me. You remember that saying? You have a saying like that? Well, we're going to talk about this. What is David doing? David's got enough going on. He's got his own son after trying to kill him. Okay? What a deal. Can you imagine? Can you imagine?
Well, in these days, it's normal.
I don't think it's just those days, my friend Fernando. I think it's now, too.
It's today.
Yeah. This represents, ancient times, but it's all the same. Well, this really is a story about trusting in God. And that's what we're going to talk about. It's a basic principle, but it's one that we should go over probably all the time. But, because I think we lose our trust in God when circumstances happen. King David, his response to being cursed at. Notice his response. His right-hand man said, what did he say? Cut his head off, man. Get it? What's he say? No. It's reminding me of Stephen, the apostle Stephen, when he was being stoned to death. King David is being cursed at, and this guy's throwing stones at him. Stephen was being stoned at and say, God, forgive them, for they do not know what they're doing. Well, he's being stoned at while fleeing from his own son, Absalom. I can't make that point more clear. Absalom is trying to take over the kingdom and has men against him. David demonstrates humility here, not retaliating. Finally, David is starting to become a humble man. And against Shimei, he acknowledges, this is what I want you to hear, and you out there. He acknowledges that the hardships he's facing today may be of his own action and God's judgment. Have you ever thought that today? You may say right now, but I'm not doing anything wrong. But you may have done something wrong in your past. And maybe God's using, maybe he is judging you. I mean, it's just something to consider. Everybody wants good in their lives, and everybody expects good from the Lord. And yes, we do have great promises in the Lord. He's going to take care of us. Those are his promises. But it doesn't mean we're not going to go through affliction and suffering. What about your life? What are you facing today? David teaches us his restraint from this man. He lets this man go, teaches us to manage and control our anger, our feelings. Because, my friends, his response with wisdom is godly. If you're responding out of your feelings, that is not a godly response, because you are responding in the flesh. If you are letting especially if you're letting your feelings rule you.
You don't trust in God.
That's what we're talking about. How'd you know? Oh, I already said that.
You don't trust in God. That's the problem.
Well, David is teaching us that in James 1:19-20. Listen to what the Bible tells us. James 1:19-20. Jesus' own brother, who didn't even believe he was God at first. Can you imagine? He says, be quick to listen, slow to speak, slow to anger. Psalms 37:8 says, do not give in to worry or anger. See, the temptation for us is to give in to worry and anger. Why is this happening to me? I'm pissed off about it, for lack of a better word. And the Bible says it only leads to trouble. So your worry and your anger only lead to trouble. Why?
Because you don't trust in God.
But why is it saying you're going to lead to trouble? You're going to do something stupid, man. You're going to say something out of your mouth.
That's the weakness.
You're going to say something out of your mouth you wish you wouldn't have said. You're going to, especially if you're mad at somebody, you're going to call them names, like this guy is doing. David says here, I love this. It may be that the Lord will look upon my affliction and that the Lord will repay me with good for his cursing. Maybe it may be that the Lord will look upon this right now and repay me good for what's happening to me right now. If I think what he's saying, if I just stay with him. Proverbs 14:25. Whoever is slow to anger has great understanding, but whoever is quick to temper, a quick-tempered person, displays folly. It's foolishness what you're doing. Because especially as a Christian, if you're not a Christian today, stay tuned. We got great news for you. We got great news for you. If you're living a life just full of your life is just craziness, stay tuned. All of our lives are crazy, but just stay tuned. Unbelief is actually opposite of trust. So if you're not trusting in God, think about this for a minute. You're actually not believing in God. And that's hard to hear, but it's true. Proverbs 39:25. The fear of man. This is for you codependent people out there. This is what God used to deliver me from codependency. The fear of man brings a snare, but whoever trusts in the Lord shall be safe. Your safety. It doesn't matter what man's doing. It doesn't matter what mankind is doing. It doesn't matter what the world is doing. It doesn't matter what's happening to you. I hate to say this. It doesn't matter how you feel. I want to be compassionate and say, I get how you feel. I understand. But in the end of the day, it don't matter. You know what? Today you could feel angry, and tomorrow it's just totally different. So your feelings are they are a barometer of what's going on. Okay, I feel angry. Why? And what do I need to do about it? God, help me. What is it that you want me to do? Because I'm feeling, and there's righteous anger, Fernando. There's righteous anger. There's righteous anger. You could be angry about a circumstance. You could be angry about what somebody's doing to you or what they've done to you. That's because it's wrong. Because they're abusing you or injustice. There's injustice in the world all around us. Well, many sorrows in Psalms 32. Well, by the way, David is suffering quite. This is not just his son has built up an army behind his back and now is pursuing his dad to take over the kingdom. His own son. So get where David's at right now. This is heartbreaking for him. The fear of man brings a snare, but those who trust in the Lord shall be saved. Many sorrows, listen to this though, Psalms 32:10, many sorrows shall be to the wicked, but the one who trusts in the Lord, mercy shall surround him. Mercy shall surround him. Remember, we had mercy at church in Calvary. What does it mean to trust in God? It really means to put the situation that you're going through right now, what I'm going through, whatever it is you're going through, Fernando, whatever you're going through, into God's care. This is not easy to do, is it? It really means to be careless. It really means, Jesus says, cast your cares upon him. Cast your worries upon him because he cares about you. When the word cast really means like when a schoolboy comes home, this is coming from, I can't think of the preacher's name. What it means is take the book, the book bag you got the schoolboy. He comes home and he goes, chucks the books on the couch. That's it. That's what it means. Cast your cares upon him. To be careless, not careless like reckless in your life, like jump out in the car and go 100 miles an hour down the street. Although that does display foolishness, that's really what the word means, to be careless. To be careless in God, to be careless in God. I don't have cares. You have my cares. You have my life. Trusting in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding, which is a famous proverb. Here we go with David's son, his wise son Solomon. And lean not on your own understanding. This really means to make secure, to feel safe. You're trusting in the Lord. You're not leaning on your own understanding. You're not leaning on your feelings. You're not leaning on the circumstances around you. You're not leaning on some kind of wisdom. You might be smart as all get out. You may be an emotional wreck. I don't know, but you're not. That's not what you're putting your faith in. You're putting your faith in the object and the person of Jesus Christ. That's how you're going to be secure. See, when you go out in a car and you start it up, and let's say you put it in reverse, what's the first thing you do after you put it in reverse?
Brake.
You put the brake on. You don't even think about it. Do you think the brake's not going to work? No, you don't go, oh, hope this brake works. Every day you go out and when you go to the red light, what do? You put the brake on. Do you go, oh, I hope this brake works? No, you just do it. You just keep doing it all day long. How many times you put that brake on? What if it was not to work? Then you'd be freaked out, wouldn't you? But you don't think about it. You just do it. And that's the trust. When you put your money into a bank, your money this is your money. Here's my money. You don't even think about it. You just put your money here. I want to start a bank account. Oh, sure, Mr. Alvarado, I'll take your money. And you're like, thank you. Yeah, you just took all my money. You trust them. It's a trust. It's entrusting them. And if we're doing that in the natural in the world, how come we can't do that with God? The Greek word is pisteo, to believe. The Greek word is pisteo. It really means to believe. Trusting in God's promises, his protection. It implies a firm belief in the reality of truth, the ability of someone or something. It's frequently associated with faith and dependence upon God, rather than human strength or wisdom. Or your feelings, by the way. Lack of trust is a lack of faith. Lack of faith is unbelief. And unbelief, my friend, is not what we're called to as Christians. What we're saying is we believe in God. Job 13:15. You go back to Job all the time, and this Job was being afflicted horribly. And he says, though he slay me, yet will I trust him. Though he slay me, yet will I trust him. But I will maintain mine own way before him. I will still remain integrity. I'm not going to lose my cool. I'm not going to go into unbelief. I'm not going to sin. I'm going to trust him, though he slay me like a dog. Like this is the Lord, you're doing this, okay? I still trust you. This is what David is saying. I still trust in God. And maybe, perhaps, what I'm going through today has something to do with what I did in the past. I mean, you can't discount that. I'm not doing anything. I'm living for God. Yeah, but back in 1975, you weren't. And maybe these consequences are coming back around. And you don't get to choose your consequences, my friend. You don't get to choose the consequences that are happening to you. You don't get to choose your lot in life. You really don't. You don't have that control. I'm a man. I'll make my own life. Go ahead. And then when cancer comes upon you, you just don't have no choice but to deal with it. Hope deferred. This is really hope. I mean, hope. I'm hoping in God, right? I hope to go to heaven. Hope. I'm going to heaven, but I'm hoping for it. I can't wait for it. I'm trusting that it's there. I haven't seen it yet. Have you? No, you haven't either. Hope deferred. Hope deferred, the Bible says, makes the heart sick. How do we learn to trust? How can we apply this trust? My friends, the only way we can do this. This is really hard. I'm not saying this is easy. It's not easy for me. I know it's not easy for you. We need to learn to give the consequences to God. That's what it means. What is morally right, even if it has negative outcomes. See, we're thinking that our life is going to, I'm a Christian, so now God's just going to bless. He is blessing you. He is promising us. He's promising He is good. He is good. He's a good, loving God. All things are working for the good for those who love the Lord. and are called to his purpose. The outcome, though, we have to trust in God's care and his loving care. He loves us, guys. But things are going terribly for me. Okay. Hang on. Trust in God. It's hard. The repercussions and take care of the salvation, regardless of the immediate results. Let me read that again because I took that out of context. Leaving the consequences to God, making decisions based on his word and what is morally right, even if it has negative outcomes, trusting that God will ultimately handle the repercussions and take care of the situation, regardless of the immediate result. We live in an instant gratification world. I want it now. Give me my credit card. Okay, here you go. Buy it now. And guess what happens? Man, I owe 3 times, 4 times, 10 times the amount of that. Well, it's because you wanted it now. And you didn't want to save your money, and you didn't want to put it back a little bit at a time. You didn't want to go to work, put some money back, save it, and then later on go, I bought the whole thing for cash. You know, I paid $3,000 for a drum set, or you bought it with a credit card and you paid $10,000 because you had to pay over time plus interest. It's up to you how you want to handle this. If you want to trust, you see what I'm going with that? Surrender and obedience. Leaving the consequences of God is surrendering control. Because really what you're saying is, I don't like what's going on. And I think I know better. Choosing is a choice to follow God, even when it's challenging. Obedience can be very challenging, especially when we feel tempted to believe we stand to lose more than we stand to gain. If I'm obedient to God, I'm going to lose. This is Adam and Eve's temptation. Satan came. He's holding out on you. Don't you know that you could be like God? You could know good and evil. Wow, I stand to lose a lot if I stay with the Lord. I stand to lose. I'm not going to have what I want in life. You see, the temptation is not to believe and to feel. Don't go on your feelings. Stop. Those of us, all of us, creative artists, people that like our feelings. Musicians are really feeling-oriented people, by the way. You need to let that go. Have your feelings. Acknowledge that they exist, but be responsible about them and give them over to God. We're not going to lose when we're with the Lord. So, lastly, however, obeying God is essential and is required in pleasing Him. The Bible says, so what is he asking of me? If we go to Hebrews 11:6, and without faith it is impossible to please God, because anyone who comes to him, you're coming to him with your request, you're coming to him and talking to him, you're coming to him with this problem you have, you're coming to him with your life circumstances and what's going you're facing, you're coming to him in prayer. First of all, you must believe that he exists. No atheist would come to him like that. And all you people that say you're atheists, are you talking to God? See, I tried atheism, and I lasted for 2 weeks. You know what the problem was, Fernando? I said I was going to be an atheist when I was 16. You know what the real problem was? I kept talking to God. And I laughed, and I said, I can't be an atheist if I'm going to talk to God.
And the most funny thing, they know it does exist.
Well, yes. It's a belief not to believe.
They don't want to accept it.
So without faith, it's impossible to please God. First of all, if you're coming to him in the first place, you must believe that he exists. And the second thing is that this is the part, that he rewards those who earnestly, and that he rewards those who earnestly seek him. What does that mean? To seek him out, to crave and worship him. He rewards, we must believe, we must entrust its fidelity. It's that what is he asking of us? He's asking us to submit ourselves to him and leave whatever happens, whatever it is. If it's death, to his care, his loving care. Disobedience says that we know better about our lives and our circumstances. It's faith over feelings. It's faith over your feelings and what's going on right now. Maybe right now you are facing a circumstance that's, I just keep hitting the wall, God. And I'm living for you too, and I'm living right for you. Maybe you're living right for God. You've been living right for God. Maybe you've had some consequences here that you're dealing with. You ever think about that? Maybe you need to deal with the consequence. Maybe God is trying to show you, hey, trust me. Do you really trust me? No, I don't, because every time I come against the law, I lose I'm mad now, and I'm done. I'm done with serving. I'm done with this. I can't believe this is happening to me. Man or woman out there, that's not faith in God. And that's not going to please Him. And you're not going to get anywhere anyways. So if you're a Christian today, this is for you. If you're not a Christian today and you want to start this faith journey, it sounds horrible, doesn't it? No, it's not horrible. It isn't really. But you can start this faith journey. But you've got to also face the fact that you've got to believe in Him. And you have to what are you entrusting? Right now, the circumstances that we're facing, we have no control over. Maybe some. Like I can choose not to go to work today. I have control over that. And then guess what? I can choose not to go to work the next day. And the next day after that, and guess what? I'm going to be fired. So, I can make a choice, right? And make the wise choice is I go to work today and I can pay my bills, But you can make choices in your life, yes, but you can't. Maybe I don't get fired. Maybe those people really caring. Chances are I'm going to get fired. We know that. If I don't go to work, we don't get to choose the consequences, is what I'm saying. So if you're facing something, and all of us are facing something. If you're not a Christian, you want a God who loves you and who wants to take care of you, and in the end, you're facing death right now. That's what we're facing. Death. You and I are going to die. We don't even know when. Could be today, could be tomorrow, could be 40 years from now. But you're going to face death. And what's going to happen after that? What are you going to do with your eternity? Well, I have the answer. His name is Jesus Christ. If you put your trust in Him. Although you're going to die here, see, there's the faith challenge. You're going to die. You can't stop it. Aging and death. If you put your trust in Him today, fully commit your life to Him today, He will save you. He will forgive your sin, actually. He won't take away the consequences. I'm sorry.
And He loved you to the death all the time.
And Jesus Christ loves you. We love you. God bless you guys. Take care.
Bye-bye.